All right, my friends, this is one of the most serious things I've ever done. This broke my heart. Broke my heart. Okay, my friends, I'm going to cut right to the chase. The military families at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii have been destroyed by fuel in their water system. Up to 350 times more jet fuel in their water system than is allowed. And it is heartbreaking. I had the most terrible time doing this morning. I couldn't keep from crying. I couldn't keep from crying. This is just, and we may be able to help. And nobody will listen to what can possibly help these people that are in desperate medical conditions. See, ingesting any of these hydrocarbons, there's two main situations. Poison to the digestive tract and bloodstream, yes. Poison to the lungs and nervous system, yes. Why? Poison to all these things. Because it's killing the digestive juices and enzymes that produce the products in all of these areas of your body. So you're going to have damage to all kinds of things. Now, your body may be able to bring back some of that bacteria, but in most cases, young kids, they don't come back because they don't have the beneficial bacteria built in them yet to fight off these kind of invasions. Because they're going to be invaded now. They don't have the immune system to work anymore. And so this is exactly what happens. Is the quickest is the most serious reaction is in the lungs, and it's the quickest. And then the gastrointestinal tract takes over and has more problems. If we knew what was in the digestive system, this is all about the digestive system. We need to find out what bacteria is in these people that were affected versus the general population. And right now we don't have a good database. All it is taking fecal swabs and building a database. It's insanity not to do this. I'm sorry I'm getting so emotional about this today, but I broke down crying 5-6 times this morning. I have little clips. I get in about 15, 20 seconds. I couldn't help myself anymore. These kids are destroyed, their lives, their families. And our government did this, and then they lied to them. You watch that 60 Minutes thing, if you don't have tears in your eyes beyond that, you have no feelings in your body. All right, what we're talking about is enzymes. Enzymes can speed up chemical reactions by over 1 million times. Sometimes they say into the billions, making reactions that would take years without the enzymes happen in fractions of seconds. And they don't get used up. They go click, 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 click. That's how it's called click chemistry. And it's what it is the molecule, and I'll show you this in a second, attaches and goes bang, 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 bang. And it doesn't get used up. And the enzymes are proteins that bind to substrates at active sites in their structure. Bring reactants together to interact very easily. They guide the reactions to a different pathway, position reactants correctly so they interact with less energy. What they're doing is breaking down all these molecules through their half-lives. And without these enzymes, it's not going to happen. So what do you need to get the enzymes? You need bacteria. All right, don't forget now, the government told them that it's okay to drink this water. Now they're all sick. I think the government has to stand up and at least look at this evidence. Otherwise, it's total malfeasance, additional malfeasance, not just what they did originally. It's worse because they're not taking into account what could possibly help. And here's the deal. We are saturated with bacteria, absolutely saturated with it. And in every bacteria, well, not every one of them, but most bacteria have ribosomes, those little balls. And they just squirt them out and they float around in the body. Or if they're free floaters, they go anywhere they want. And they end up collecting in cells. And they can have many, many, many in a cell. They can have millions. And that's that little ball. And these are tiny, tiny, tiny little balls. But when they open up, they create huge enzymes, which are extreme attack dogs. Or they also could create a protein, which is a building block. You need both. You need things to break things down, and then you need things to take them and build them back up again. And that's what ribosomes do. They're so small that they can go through the blood-brain barrier. There can literally be millions of these in every single cell in your body. Millions in every single cell. And you say, oh, Roger, that's impossible. Well, that's not my words. Here it is right here. 10 million ribosomes. As many in a million cell, which is us, can have as many as 10 million ribosomes. One cell. But each ribosome has only a temporary existence. They build up all these chemistry sets. The ribosomes link up amino acids as a chemistry set at a rate of 200 per minute. They're little constructors. And the ribosomes are formed from the locking of small subunits into a large subunit. They're called polypeptide chains. You see when they talked about linking up those little molecules? Here they are, amino acids. There's like 20 of them. And they link them up like this, right? From the bacteria clicks them all together into a ribosome, into one of these balls. So they come out as a chain of all these little ones, and they end up going into the ribosome. The ribosome goes out through the body, floats around, and when it's needed, it pops that chemistry open. Just unbelievable, because it unsheaths. Here's the process. Don't forget, you got the bacteria. It has a certain DNA of its own that says make a certain ribosome. And what you're going to do is take this amino acid, add to this one, and then to the next one, and this one, and that one, and that one. And you can have short chains, you can have long chains. It's up to them. It's up to the bacteria how long it's going to be. The program. Sometimes they're little shorties like this. Sometimes they're big long ones. They go forever, just about. Go on and on and on and on and on. All right, and then what they do is they ball up at the end into a ball, just like that. A ball that's so tiny that 10 million can fit into a single cell in your body. And you have bazillion, trillion cells in your body. And there could be 10 million of those in each one of them. It's just beyond the imagination how complicated the human body is. But if you don't have these enzymes to come out of here, you're done. And if you don't have the bacteria, that's the only place you get them. And how can I say that? Well, here's why. Right here it is right here. Bacteria are single-celled, just like I showed you, organisms. They produce enzymes. Better said, bacteria are the factories that produce the enzymes. You don't have the bacteria, you do not get the enzyme. You don't have the enzymes, you don't get the ribosome. You don't get the ribosome, you don't get the chemistry. You don't get the chemistry, you get sick. All right, once again, this is heartbreaking. I think with at least knowing what their bacteria should be, we may be able to intervene with some other good bacteria, at least the enzymes that are involved in the ribosomes. Because, again, let's just follow it through. There's the bacteria. We know what they do is produce ribosomes. We know the ribosomes are free floaters throughout the body. There can be millions of them in each cell creating the chemistry. And these are the little balls that can float anywhere through the body, so they can get way up in your brain where a lot of things can't go. But once they open up, once that ball comes down and it opens up into the enzyme, it's just elegantly gigantic. So it would never go through the blood-brain barrier, it won't allow it. So you have to have the bacteria to have the enzyme be able to get through there as a ribosome. Once it opens up, it's too late. And that's why right now they're doing things to open up the blood-brain barrier to allow big chemicals in there, and then it closes right back up again. But this is much better. You send the real thing in there, send the bacterial product that comes right out of there, the ribosome, zip, and make these big gigantic things, programs the ribosomes with all of this chemistry. And this is how elegant these things are. Look at this. This is like, every one of these is a magnetic signature. And because it's so complicated, it can do chemistry within a fraction of a second. It would take years and years to produce. I think I showed you that. The enzymes they're the key to life. You don't have the enzymes, you're not going to function. You're going to die. Or you're going to be you're going to be sick. And the more damage to them, which is the damage to your digestive system, the worse you're going to be. You're going to have all kinds of things happen to you. And this is the problem, is they never knew about this part in here until just recently, the newfound organ, 2018. This is where all these enzymes and bacteria run through your body, delivering all these products, picking up and taking the stuff to the dump, and, you know, delivering enzymes to break down food. It's all in that interstitium layer, and then ends up getting into the gut layer, which ends up getting into the feces. And that's where we can find a database. And all we need to do is take fecal swabs of all, and I imagine all of these kids, I would probably assume that they have some kind of digestive issues as well. It's just not that they're sick, you know, lungs and so forth. They probably have some kind of disorder in their poop, in their digestive system, because it's all related to the digestive system. I think if they can find out the bacterial database, and then we can at least go from there. Then we have a starting point. Right now, it's just all guesses, and these kids are getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And all of this relates to cancer and everything. And they're talking about a big advance on cancer. They just put in $150 million into cancer research. All we need is a very small, less than 1% of that to do the database I'm talking about. All it is getting a large sample of people, fecal swabs, test them all, set up a database, and then the people that are sick test theirs against that database. Case closed. Get a hold of your VA people, get a hold of the government. We need to get this done. They did this to these people. The government did this to them. They lied to them, and now they got to step up. All right, let's all try to get this done. Otherwise, nobody pays attention to this stuff. If we can hold their feet to the fire on this one, it's about time they did something to rectify the kind of problems these people create. All right, you see this? They just discovered this, found thousands of new microorganisms just living on the human skin. Thousands of new microbes. In your gut, in your body, there's more microbes in your body than there is you in your body. And there's literally probably hundreds of thousands of species. And every one of them, basically, not everyone, but almost everyone, creates an enzyme. The enzymes are the thing that do the catalyst. They're an instantaneous breakdown of food and attacking invaders and so forth. And they are being wiped out by that jet fuel. It just killed all the bacteria. And in your lungs is the main part, because you have to fight off everything you're breathing in. And all of a sudden you start coughing, say, I can't get rid of that stuff. And you're just doing it all day long because you can't get rid of the stuff that's building up in your lungs that's supposed to be taken care of by these enzymes and bacteria, which are dead now. And then in your gut, the same thing. You're not processing your food. You start to get weaker. You guys get sicker. Now, we need to know what the human body consists of in bacteria species-wise. And then we can just do a fecal swab and say what is coming out of your bacteria, because that's where it all basically comes out of, is your feces. There'll be bits and pieces in there that are going to say, I have this kind of bacteria in me, this. And if you don't have them, why? And if you have too much of them, why? It's always related to one or the other, having too much or too little. If you have just the right amount, you should be perfect. Your poop should come out perfect every day. No issues with your digestion, no diarrhea, no constipation. Nice and clean, everything good. Once you did damage all that bacteria, or even some of it, you're not going to get some of the products you need. I don't care what happens. This is not going to work. Without the bacteria, you don't get the enzyme. Without the enzyme, no chemistry. All right, this is just one thing they're talking about, is asthma for babies. And babies with high risk for asthma have delayed diversification of their gut microbiome, while healthy babies, diversification means a lot of different types, while healthy babies accumulate bacterial diversity quickly over the first year of life. They get all kind of bacteria in them, and they're supposed to have it instantly when they're being born. They come through the vaginal canal, all kinds of bacteria in there. It should be. They come through, and there should be some feces in there, everything. They should go right through all that nasty stuff, and that is what preps them up to prepare them for life, because they're going to be hanging around their mother all day long. They better be ready for these kind of little invasive things that might happen. So this is all about the bacteria and the microbiome, and what it produces is enzymes which are from these bacteria. Without the enzymes, you can't do the chemistry. The chemistry in your body is done so quickly because of catalysts. They work sometimes billions, up to even trillions of times faster than a natural chemical reaction, because they're just built to work with half-lives. They go, and they just change whatever's coming in a carrot down into something that works for your digestive system, or for your lungs, or whatever your heart needs, or whatever it is. When it comes in, it's not going to do anything for you until you break it all down and build it back up again. And that's what the enzymes do. And they only come from bacteria. A lot of this has to do with the secretion of different organs. Now, they're talking about T cells, and they come from the thymus. All right, T cells are named after the thymus gland, where they are developed in these stem cells. Well, they're not developed just by accident. Enzymes are breaking and making things and creating these T cells. And the white blood cells, they're fine. They're wonderful to have. But if you don't have the right enzymes inside of them to break down the things that they're going to break down, it's not going to happen. Or if you don't have enough of them, it's not going to happen. And the whole driving process of everything in the human body is enzymes that break down things instantly to provide the instantaneous part for life. You are dying instantaneously right now. A ton of your body is dying at this instant. And what's happening? Your bacteria is cleaning it up, fixing it up, getting it out of the way, bringing it down to the lymph nodes, dumping it out, taking care of all that, creating enzymes to break down dead cells and break them down and make them into little bits so they can get rid of them. Because buildup of toxins means you don't have the thing to go over and break them down. It's so simple when you think about what an enzyme does. And when you know what an enzyme is a bacteria, you've got to get to the bacteria. And we don't know what's supposed to be bacteria in the human body. Get to your Veterans Administration people. Get to the government. Get to your doctors. Talk to them about enzymes. They just never knew about this before, because the interstitium layer where all these enzymes and bacteria float, it was just discovered. So this is all new. I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but if they don't start to understand what's in front of their faces, they'll never understand this bacterial network that is required. It's in the interstitium, and it's loaded with bacteria and enzymes. And if they're not there, you're done. The bacteria create the enzymes, which they do everything. All right, and originally, let me just show you what a bacteria does, creating a ribosome that creates the enzymes do the chemistry. And then we'll leave it at that. And get a hold of somebody about this right away. We might be able to intervene with this. All we need to do is start a very quick, in a few weeks we could have this done. Get a quick fecal swab of all kinds of people, and especially the ones that have been infected with this. See if they're way off the chart with some bacteria. That's all. That's as simple as that. This is Manifest Destiny. I'm going through this thing about the jet fuel destroying the guts. Listen to this. Scientists warn these common chemicals may forever alter your gut health, leading for lifelong disease. That's the problem. Once you damage your gut, you're done. Once they're done, they can't repopulate. If you don't get them somehow reestablished, you're in trouble. Now, there is something called fecal matter transplant, and that's what I think they should be looking into for these people, because that repopulates your digestive system like it starts over again. And they are using that as a treatment for C. difficile. And what they do is they flood your body. C. difficile is an overgrowth of this particular bacteria, and it takes over the digestive system and destroys it. And so what they have to do is flood it with antibiotics and kill it all, and they do. But before they weren't giving them the new fecal matter transplant on top of that. Now they do that and give them the fecal matter transplant. They're fixed almost every single time. You look up the statistics, and I think it's like 95%. Before, they just couldn't stop it. They just keep coming back, because they could kill it, but there was always something left over. But once you have new bacteria, it takes care of the situation all by itself. You don't need to do anything. It will say, okay, there's too much of that. Whoa, we'll get over here and take care of it. But you got to have the right bacteria to do that. This is now starting to be understood, but it's a very slow process. As I showed you, I think, or maybe I didn't, but this is, I'm going to hold it. I'm going to be watching that later. forever alter your lifelong disease. Yes. Now, I don't know if I showed you this or not, but I think I did. This interstitium, brand new. They never even knew it lived here. This is where all that stuff they're talking about lives. All right, it lives in that, primarily in your gut, has all of that stuff going around and putting that into that system, and then it goes through your whole body. That's the interstitium. So I'm just asking the government to do what I think is right, and to do a study on the bacteria of healthy people, and then look at all these people that have been affected and see what the difference is. Very simple. We're not talking about a major spending thing, because we can bring these kids back maybe. What if we can help them and restore them to health? Just think about that. Just think about that. All right? Please speak up. Somebody do something. I have no voice. I have been suppressed because of other things that I've done, about my research that people don't like. Everybody should like this. Everybody should want these kids to be healthy. Let's do something, please. I don't like to beg, but I'm not above it. Please, somebody do something. Here it is. This just came out minutes ago. Common chemicals may forever alter your gut health, leading to lifelong disease. And they go down to some of these they're fairly common, but in abundance, they can destroy you. And it's just about everywhere. Now listen to this. This is the new study about gut organism reduced body fat. Largest study of its kind, gut microorganisms linked to type 2 diabetes. From gut to brain, new findings that link microbiota to Alzheimer's. It's all about the microbiome. Caffeine may play a role in gut health. New study supplement reduces liver, and everything is about your gut bacteria being in the right condition and having the correct enzymes. They just never realized this before because they didn't really take into consideration this new layer that they found now, which is the interstitium. This is where all the stuff is produced and sent through the body. So we need to figure out what bacteria is in a healthy population versus the unhealthy population, and then we can probably adjust it. Basically, it's repopulating the bacteria. And fecal matter transplants, it looks very, very promising. Okay, this isn't just about the kids and the people down at Pearl Harbor. This is everything. This is right across the board. Virtually everything is affected by gut health. This is what I am asking for, is a microbiome database. Absolutely simple, very, very simple. Fecal matter swabs, you can do, oral swab, fecal matter swab, whatever. As much information you get about what's in your gut and what's in your body, the things that aren't your body that live in there, they create the products that make your body work. And they also create the products that kill your body. So we need to test what's in these fecal swabs and make a database, create a standardized bacterial model. This is pretty much what you should have right across the board. If you're high here and low here or whatever, it's going to mean something. Now, it's just a simple fecal swab from a person that's sick, and we'll match it to the database. If there's something wrong, that gives us a starting point. Now, I already have information and contacts worldwide about this already, because I've been working on this with Alzheimer's, autism, for quite a while now, and we've had some success. Now, veterans, unite, stand behind me with this. Call your veteran administration, talk to somebody. Somebody's got to do something. This is absolutely insane to not have this database, to be able to do these fecal matter swabs. You could do that in a matter of minutes and tell what bacteria you're missing. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're missing bacteria, you're missing enzymes. You're missing enzymes, you're missing chemistry. You're missing chemistry, your body is not going to function the way it is supposed to. You're going to have issues. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I love you all. This is just, we need to get a database. I've been begging for this. I've been contacting people all over and have video after video after video and very, very little response. This is our shot. This is our chance. All right? Let's help these people from Pearl Harbor. It was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. All right? Thank you.